You ever have anxiety about the future, about what comes next and how to handle it? God's got an answer for that. It's time for Grace Points. One of my favorite movies growing up was The Karate Kid, the one with Ralph Macchio and Pat Morita. No offense, Jaden, but that was not The Karate Kid. That's terrible. But it was one of my favorite movies, right? Growing up, watching Daniel-san and Mr. Miyagi and watching this exchange between this kid from New Jersey who moves to California and he's learning martial arts from the maintenance man. And every time that Daniel gets bullied, right, Daniel is going to Mr. Miyagi saying, I need you to show me, I need you to teach me how to defend myself. Show me that stuff that you know. So Mr. Miyagi says, all right, let's start with sanding the floor. When you've learned to sand the floor, then I'll teach you. And Daniel sands the floor. He says, when you've learned to paint the fence, then I'll teach you. All right, Daniel paints the fence. Then when you've learned to paint the house side to side, then I'll teach you. Eventually, Daniel gets upset. He's getting frustrated because everything that he's dealing with in the present seems pointless. Everything he's dealing with now seems like it has no purpose until Mr. Miyagi shows him that everything you've been learning has had a reason behind it. Sanding the floor, painting the fence, painting the house, all of that was actually showing Daniel different movements and different parts of karate so that he would be able to defend himself. Everything Daniel thought was punishment was actually preparation. Yeah, that's a whole word. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11 tells us, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. You make the mistake of sometimes believing that what is a punishment, what you feel is a punishment to you, isn't preparation. But that's completely wrong. What you mistake as punishment is actually God preparing you for a certain future. There's some things I want you to get for you to really have peace about where you are today. Number one, realize God has a plan. That's the focus of Jeremiah chapter 29:11 is God telling you, I got a plan. You may not see it, you may not get it, but trust that I have a plan. The creator of the universe has a plan, a blueprint of your life. Know that God has a plan. But number two, know that that plan is completely positive. That plan is for hope and a future and prosperity and peace. That God has a plan that involves better for you. That your days ahead are better than the days behind. But then number three, all of this is predicated on you seeking God's face now. God's plan for your future is dependent on you seeking Him today. Sometimes you feel like God isn't answering your prayers, like He's not moving fast enough, like your present is pointless and purposeless and your future seems bleak and you don't see the direction. Know that what you think is punishment is actually preparation for greater, and realize that sometimes God is just giving you time to learn. Time to gain more wisdom, more experience, more appreciation, more humility for what God is preparing you to do and be. More than any of that, this crazy world is just preparing us for a soon coming kingdom where we'll live with God forever. So, shake it off. Trust His plan and trust His heart. Remember, you're the best around. I couldn't help it. I had to do it. You're the best around. No one's gonna ever keep you down. Anyway, it's great seeing you. I hope to see you next week. This is Grace Points. God bless you. So, could you do me a favor? Would you hit like and subscribe, share Grace Points with as many of your friends and family as possible? I want Jesus to go viral. I want us to partner in evangelism and sharing Jesus around the world. And if you'll share these little devotionals with people that need a word from God, that may not have a church home, may not know anything about Jesus, I think we can make a difference in the world. God bless.